Well, welcome everybody. We're going to start on time this evening to make sure that we have enough time to do everything we need to do, but also since we have got a couple of students on, and I want to take a moment to talk specifically about the summer camps. The summer camps are all completed now. We had 3 summer camps. The last one was last week. It was a 2-day campus tour, local areas, and it was exceptionally good, all of them. They were a lot of fun, and the students were wonderful. I think we all learned a lot about this first year and the first process. And one of the things we learned is on the lectures tonight. And we're going to talk a lot about what exactly college is. Trying to think if there's any other announcements. The only other announcement is we've just put a resource on our Facebook page, our website, and it's a resource for allowing students to be involved with their community. We wanted to make sure that there was a place for us to put resources and links and things to like the self-determination groups and ABLE accounts and how to get signed up for DVR, just a whole list of resources. And we wanted those to be available for everyone. We wanted those to be a living document. So I've made it where people can comment. And if you find a link that's broken, please just put a comment in the document and let me know, and I'll fix it or find it. If there's another resource that you think is good and should be added to that list, we will be vetting every one of these as far as the groups, as far as the information. We're not there to put a whole bunch of things that are for sale for people or anything like that, but we are interested in any organization that serves people with disabilities, serves future college students with challenges, or has something new and innovative that helps provide support for folks. I think the only area we didn't have quite as much on as I would like is on adaptive sports. So if you see some adaptive sports information, please let me know. Well, let's get going. We let a couple people come in the last couple of minutes. It's 7:02, so we're going to get going with this presentation. And tonight, we're really talking about what is college. It's a definition that we've chosen to use the broadest definition, and we're going to talk about all those different things. So let's move forward. And of course, it didn't work. Oh gosh. Oh, there we go. Let me try this now. There it goes. Make sure that's moving. I can see it now on the presentation. Thank you for your patience. Technology's fun, but boy, it always seems harder than it needs to be. So we talk a lot about college, getting to college. It's in our name. And we use the word college very, very, very loosely. Higher education is another name for college. Post-secondary education is another name for college. Now, we're going to talk about those different concepts under each one and kind of use these definitions interchangeably, but you'll see as we define each one why we can use all of these to still denote college. We want the students and everyone to know there's a wide range of post-secondary options available, a wide range, and it all just depends on what path you want to take. The thing, the opportunity, the place that best fits your interest, the needs, and the goals of the student. So we didn't think that it was necessary to really talk about this a lot, but we have had this question raised. Why even bother with going to college? Why does it matter? Why is it necessary? Is it really important? Well, our stat there shows you can make 84% more a week with some type of bachelor's degree than a person with a high school diploma. We've also, and I don't know if the stats are in this one or if it's in a different presentation that you may have seen, but we talk a lot about the fact that getting a job is difficult at best in this environment for some folks. And if you have a credential, that eliminates a lot of what we call the disability gap, right? That workforce participation. Going to college, going somewhere after high school automatically creates more independence because you're growing and maturing, and it provides more options for better income. The reality is a college degree can help you out a lot. Get in the door and work towards your career, make more money. Plus, you get to connect to people and community and grow as a person. You know, it's great to get out of high school and go into a job, but college is a different thing. Personal growth is part of that. But we're only focused in the Getting to College program on making sure you get the best job that suits you, that you care about, that you love, and you're building those skills that employers want. We think that all of the personal growth will just happen. But college is about training. It's about training for a job, right? We want you to find a job you like, that you love, that you're not just tolerating. We want you to find a career. In another lecture, we'll talk about careers, but in general, you want a good career, good wages, benefits. You want to make a life for yourself that you care about, not just a job. But everybody's path is different, and that's totally okay. Everybody's path is different. My path is different. It took me a long time to get my bachelor's degree. It took me many years in between to get my master's. It took me extra time because I needed to work my way through college. There's no right way to go. It's that simple. You can start small, take a couple of classes and build some momentum. It's important that the people who support you care about this as well. And your supports and accommodations in school may travel with you in high school, in the secondary school. They may go with you, and that's important because some of the things that you will need to be successful in college may be those accommodations that, like a quiet testing room or such, that you needed in high school as well. Put a quote down here: what's the best fit for me? Not for someone else. I'm not talking about for everyone else. I'm talking about the best fit for the individual. And that can be a lot of different things. Now, lots of different higher education opportunities. There's more similarities, in fact, I think, in many of these things we're going to talk about now, than there really are differences. Now, every university, every college, everything we're talking about, except for maybe apprenticeships and internships, every university, every traditional college, every non-traditional college will have a disability resource center. Now, they may call it all different kinds of things. Access center, accessibility services, disability services. They may not even call it that at all, but they will have a center, and it will be staffed with a group of people, depending on the size of the university, that will help you make sure you get your accommodations, that will help you schedule things like quiet rooms to do your testing. Many of these facilities, centers have a facility that has quiet rooms, that has maybe the opportunity for note takers, tutors, all kinds of things. Lots of different supports. Public and private schools. There is no doubt that public schools are different than private schools, but I would suggest that they're more alike than they are different, than especially in some of the secondary schools. Every private university still has a disability resource center. Every private university has people filling out the FAFSA forms for student, pardon me, I lost my train of thought there, for the students to file for financial aid. Every public university will have that. They may have leeway on the courses and how they create their credit program, but they're still very similar. But I will tell you, the cost can vary. One of the things, sounds like I'm really pushing public versus private schools here, that private schools can do something that you may not see in public educational facilities. Private universities many times have a lot of internal scholarships or ways to support the student financially. If you find that there's a private school that you really like and it seems expensive, because it may on paper, once you're in and applied and have been approved to go into that school, once you're a student, You may find that many private schools have lots of options on how you pay for them. And you may find that the actual sticker price versus the website price may be very different. I'll give you an example. My daughter goes to the University of Vermont, not in Wisconsin, not in Texas. She's going to the University of Wisconsin. She's an out-of-state student. However, because of her grades and because she's an out-of-state student, there was quite a beneficial scholarship for out-of-state students who had a certain grade level to go to a rather expensive school in Vermont. It cut the cost to where the cost was the equivalent to another school. So don't make a decision on cost and say, I want to go to the university that's the absolute cheapest until you've applied, been accepted, and seen the financial aid package. You don't always have to go to that school, right? Until you're ready to pay a deposit, but the cost can vary. So just know that. So let's go on to the types of higher ed. 2-year community or technical college. Most of us know about technical colleges, community colleges. They offer certificates, diplomas, associate's degrees, some of them. They're very hands-on in some cases, and some of them have incredible academic programs. These are schools and technical colleges that are really preparing you for a trade or a career, or to go on to a different type of higher ed. They usually have smaller classes. They're usually extremely reasonably priced, and many of them have online options. They will have a disability resource center. While it may be a little harder to find it, especially if you're doing an online program, they'll still have a disability resource center in some way. Don't ever think they won't. And often they still have the same kinds of accommodations that you might need. There's some examples here: welding, childcare, technical support, culinary arts. Really, really big in technical colleges and community colleges. Fantastic opportunity. Again, also a great way to prepare yourself to go to a 4-year college or university. What's the difference between college and university? University is really essentially when someone has a master's and a PhD program. Not every school does that. Many have changed their names when they do or don't have these programs. It's a little, just depends on the university and the school. Perfect example. Edgewood College is now becoming Edgewood University. They've increased their courses and they feel that it reflects who and what they are. They usually have a broader course selection, lots of liberal arts colleges, lots of sciences, education, business. This really is your traditional type of 4-year college or university. Some have remote learning and some will have certificate programs. Most of those certificate programs are for adult education. People have already graduated. The campus life on a 4-year college or university can be extremely complex. It can be extremely robust with clubs and rec centers and athletics, student athletics, and then entire athletics like football programs. They can be really, really massive in universities. Of course, University of Wisconsin, University of Texas, University of Vermont, University of Minnesota, large 4-year flagship universities is what we typically think of. Get your business degrees, get an education degree, become a teacher, lots of different ways to do that. Healthcare, generally, most people, once they get a 4-year degree, if they have the grades that they want, they can go on and get a master's degree. And many of those 4-year universities also have master's degrees. Some universities frown upon that. You shouldn't get your master's where you get your bachelor's. And that seems to have kind of changed over the years. But those programs are traditional. One of the things that really helps students with disabilities, students with challenges, those who cannot or maybe don't want to be in a traditional program, or they just don't have the prerequisites because their high school didn't prepare them. If you have some challenges, if you have some accommodations that you may need, there are inclusive programs, post-secondary college programs, IPSE, that's what we generally call them. A lot of them focus on life skills, social skills, job prep, including the college experience and also the training for some type of credential. most of them do not provide a bachelor's degree in any way at all. There's certificate programs. Some of them are non-certificate programs. You're just auditing classes. They're essentially designed for students with intellectual or developmental disabilities, which can be someone with Down syndrome, someone with autism, someone who's maybe had a brain injury, someone that maybe even has a health concern. Certificates, non-credit programs, they often have layers of support. Some of those will be through peer mentors or peer navigators. Some may be even through job coaches. Many of these inclusive post-secondary programs focus on a career after the program, and they range from 2-year to 4-year to even 6-year in some of them. But they generally are training the students to have a job, and it's a very specific job. They may have a credentialed program. Shepherd's College, Edgewood College, who I've already mentioned, Whitewater, Life. Let's see what else. We've got several more in and around Wisconsin. We have 6 or so, 4 or 5 in Minnesota. I think Illinois has a few more, and Iowa has a few programs too. Actually, they have some very good programs in Iowa. Not quite as many, but they have fantastic programs. These inclusive post-secondary college programs are very beneficial for those students who don't ever expect to seek a 2-year or a 4-year degree. However, I will point out that Edgewood College has an opportunity. If you're in the 2-year program and you think you can do the work, and you've proven that, you'll be able to get your 4-year degree and take those courses. It may take more than 4 years because a lot of the students pace themselves differently. But there are those options, and they are coming along, where the 4-year and the 2-year degree, associate's degree and a bachelor's, means something. And they're coming along in these inclusive programs. It's fantastic to see it move that way. There's other types of alternatives to 2- and 4-year programs. And I think these are really interesting, especially in Wisconsin. We have a long-standing history of apprenticeships, right? Is that higher ed? It's post-secondary, and you're learning a skill or a trade. You're getting paid while you're doing it, so it's kind of like an internship. It often includes a classroom component. Somebody doing HVAC work, learning to be an air conditioner tech. They're going to learn in the classroom. They're also going to learn outside the classroom, hands-on, on-the-job training. It's a very, very strong program and path for people who are hands-on learners. Electricians, plumbers, trades, carpenters. This is a great way. Now, I will say that the programs that are set up in Wisconsin may be a little limited because you have to have someone who's wants those folks to be in a certain apprenticeship, but some of our largest employers in Wisconsin have robust apprenticeship programs that are run through the state. So don't ever not think about that. It's a fantastic way if you have someone who really wants to be a tradesman or a craftsman. Internships. Internships can be short, real-world experience. Now, the students really like the fact that I think all internships should be paid. I understand that if you're taking it for credit, that's different. If you have a college credit, you're being paid in some kind, right? But typically, many businesses will have unpaid internships, and the student who may not have that much money, may not have that much wherewithal at that point in time in their lives, they have to spend money to get to the job, to eat. And I feel personally that all of them should offer some kind of stipend. And I think we really have seen in the last few years a movement towards mostly paid internships. They're a fantastic way to gain skills, to learn, to get soft skills about working in a professional environment. Many nonprofits survive on internships and volunteer work, which we'll talk about in a minute. State and federal agencies, major manufacturers. Again, if you want it for credit, it's fantastic. It may be your foot in the door. I did an internship at Texas Parks and Wildlife when I was finishing up my undergrad in science. It was fantastic, and I had a job waiting for me when I was finished with that internship. Now, I didn't take it. I ended up moving away. But you can gain real-world experience and open the doors with internships. Don't ever think they're not important. Volunteering. If you love something and you want to do something that matters, maybe work in an animal shelter, volunteering is a fantastic way to build experience. There's no pressure. It helps you sometimes identify your strengths and preferences. Maybe you think you'd really like to work at an animal shelter, but you're a little concerned about maybe the noise, because it can be very noisy at times. You'll find out with a volunteer position, right? You'll find out if it's right for you. Plus, you can put these things on your resume. And for many people, it will show that you care about your community and that you're working hard to find out where you fit. Summer camps can also be a good one. I'll make a plug for 2026, getting to college summer camps. You're more than welcome, any of you, to volunteer and help us out there. Job trainings program. There's all kinds of job training program. Many of these, if a person has a disability, go through the Department of Vocational Rehab, right? Many of them can be just like internships, only you're getting paid and the business is getting some kind of incentive for having you there. It's really very helpful for people. Job trainings programs like Goodwill, Project Search, which everybody knows about Search, these transition programs can really help you. If you've graduated, going through a job trainings program, especially in a career that you love, can really tell you if that's going to be a good fit for you, for then if you want to go to some type of post-secondary, maybe a college or one of the inclusive programs. Absolutely fantastic. Lots and lots of online certifications. You learn at your own pace. Many of them are low cost. Some of them are free, especially if you're signing up through DVR and or you're taking some of the workforce, the labor force webinars that they have. You can get lots of certifications that will really help you. LinkedIn Learning, Coursera, Google IT. Google has tons of things where you can learn how to work with Google and put that on your resume. I'm certified as a Google IT support technician in whatever area that might have been. Very, very helpful to lots of people. Some people will never need, I was thinking the other day and talking to someone who was doing some machine work. They really wanted to go to college because they wanted to, but they found that all they really needed to get a raise in their job, to give them some more time and more money, was an online certification showing they understood the basics of this particular CNC product. So it was actually that specific. It was an actual machine that they got certified on, which gave them a raise and got them on a better shift that they were more interested in. Really, really can be very helpful. It also can be something that you just do because you want to learn. I took a class on the Nordic Icelandic sagas. I just found it fascinating during the pandemic. Okay, how do you pick what's right for you? Always. If you don't care, and if it's not a good fit for you, if there's impediments that you were thinking about and you're unsure, you need to make sure that this is a good path, and that's what you have to find what you're interested in. You have to say to yourself, do I want hands-on or do I prefer to learn in the classroom? What supports am I going to need? If you have an IEP or a 504 plan, look at those accommodations and supports. See if that university or that program is going to give those to you. Make a decision. Do you want to live at home or on campus? A lot of students, and especially in the summer camp, we talked about living on campus. They were really excited about that. The actuality was many of them had situations where they were close enough to a particular campus, and that made a decision to them because it let them stay home. Certainly for 2 years while they got their feet underneath them and learned what college was about. You have to choose about a small or large campus, and I will tell you, once you visit a campus, and a big campus, or you visit a small campus, and I will tell you this little story here. Again, my daughter, large campus. She loved it, thought it was fantastic. There in Madison, I think everybody knows which one I'm talking about. Beautiful, huge campus. It is overwhelming for some people to have a campus that is that big. University of Wisconsin La Crosse, not a very big campus, much smaller, much more tailored to some people's personalities, and or maybe a college like one of the private universities that has a classroom with maybe a maximum of 8 to 15 people. There are campuses out there that will have 300 to 500 people in an entry-level class. I'll say it again, 300 to 500 college students pouring into that 45 or an hour and a half long class, whichever one campus it might be. Some people won't prefer that. Some people will like a smaller campus and a smaller classroom. Others may like it just fine. And don't ever think that you should not think about the surrounding area and those things that are important to you, the culture. Whether you're a foodie, mountain climbing, snow skiing, outdoor activities, maybe there's a museum that you're interested in. Maybe there's a employer that you've felt like you could fit with, or maybe you had an internship with at a different point in time, and they're in that city too, and you can show them that. There's lots of different peripheral things about going to college, and all those things are up to you, and you need to find a good fit for them. Now, I made a little chart here of all the different things we're talking about: 2-year, 4-year apprenticeships, inclusive college, and feel free, any of y'all, to, if you have any questions, just stop me, because this is the time we can talk about the different programs if you'd like to. If not, we'll keep moving on. But our 2-year colleges, and if you look over there, Western Tech, most of the technical colleges, community colleges. 4-year university, University of La Crosse is a 4-year university, although they do have some 2-year programs. Apprenticeships, I've got a few there. Gunderson's one of those. UWL actually works with Gunderson quite a lot for their programs, especially some of the apprenticeships that they do that are for building facilities. Inclusive colleges. I didn't put the inclusive college list here. We kind of had them in a different page, but there is a link, which will be in your materials if you need them. And that link will show you everyone in Wisconsin and then give you opportunity to go look at all the rest of them. Think College has the best, most up-to-date list of inclusive post-secondary opportunities in the United States. Simple. Fantastic resource in all ways. Job training. Western Tech, career pathways, apprenticeship programs, all kinds of different job trainings can do a lot for you and can really be something that sets you up. Again, we talked about Project Search, and we talked about some of the other Department of Vocational Rehab programs. Internships, look at that. UWL Service Learning and Research Emphasis. University of Wisconsin-La Crosse has a fantastic series of internships. I will say that going to Viterbo, they also really focused on internships, especially for their nursing program. Volunteering, where can't you volunteer? Anywhere, right? Find the one that you really like. Habitat for Humanity, maybe a food pantry, maybe at the parks. Maybe you want to be outside, right? And of course, the last thing is all these online courses. So that was just a chart to kind of show you some examples with the websites there. Bottom line, it's your path and it's your future, and you do not have to have everything figured out. I know many students, and I know it seems inefficient, but it's your life. Many students don't have everything figured out when they first go to college, and they change degree programs. I changed a degree program. I was in the hard sciences, and I went into the environmental science because it was something I really enjoyed more. Lots of people change their paths. Doing apprenticeships, doing internships, doing job exploration is a great way to make sure you're on the right path, but sometimes that doesn't happen. You can change your path along the way. It's that simple. Now, fit your needs. You've already taken the first step in doing that, just even thinking about it. Sometimes people don't even think about all these different things. And I will say, every student belongs in college, and I believe this fully. Every student who wants to be in college belongs there and can go. Build your future. Think about those things. Find the college that fits for you. Don't be in a hurry, and take it one step at a time. Okay, that's the end of that lecture. As we've done with all the rest of them, which I didn't preface today, what we generally do is our lecture for about 30 minutes, 15 to 20, and then we, sometimes 30 if I talk too much, and then we stop that recording so that the students can ask questions more freely without it being on. And then after that is over, we'll just talk about a series of events or whatever's going on in the community and make sure that everyone has an opportunity to kind of share what's going on in their lives. So I will stop here, stop the share, and pause the recording, and we will get to some questions now. There we go. Hopefully it stopped the recording.